Look. Look at you.
And speaking of a lot of winter left, the sky is looking a little bit fuzzy
Yeah.
out there. There's some snowflakes aloft. They're trying to make it down to the ground. Reports.
Of executive orders imposing 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada, with the lower 10% tariff on Canadian oil and gas and 10% tariffs on goods from China. The new measure, set to take effect on Tuesday, could raise prices for Americans at the grocery store and the gas pump. Trump insists that tariffs are necessary to strengthen the U.S. economy, accusing those countries of allowing undocumented migrants and illegal drugs to enter the U.S.
China makes the fentanyl, gives it to Mexico, puts it through Canada, puts it through different places, mostly Mexico, but also a lot through Canada. And so all three haven't treated us very well.
All three countries, America's three biggest trading partners, rejecting Trump's accusations and vowing to retaliate. The Chinese government denouncing the tariffs, which come on top of existing tariffs for Trump's first term, promising countermeasures and urging the U.S. to handle its own fentanyl issues objectively and rationally, without threatening other countries with tariffs. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum ordering retaliatory tariffs and slamming Trump's assertion that her government works with drug cartels as slander, saying if the United States wants to combat criminal groups that traffic drugs and generate violence, we must work together. But the strongest reaction from our ally to the north, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, says Canada will retaliate with 25% tariffs on $106 billion worth of American goods, calling on his citizens to buy Canadian.
It might mean opting for Canadian rye over Kentucky bourbon, or foregoing Florida orange juice altogether.
Liquor stores in several Canadian provinces already pulling American-made products from their shelves. Officials in Canada perplexed. U.S. Customs and Border Protection data shows just 1.5% of migrant apprehensions and less than 1% of fentanyl seizures take place along the U.S.-Canada border.
So it's hard to know what more we can do, but we're obviously open to any other suggestions that come our way.
Trump now claiming that Canada is not a viable country without U.S. support, again arguing Canada should become the 51st state, much lower taxes, and far better military protection for the people of Canada, and no tariffs. But Canadians outraged. Thousands of hockey fans in Ottawa booing the U.S. national anthem just hours after Trump's tariff announcement. And tonight we're also learning about growing tensions between Elon Musk and the U.S. Agency for International Development. Sources tell us that two top security officials were put on leave after refusing to allow staffers for Musk's Department of Government Efficiency to access sensitive information within the agency. Whit?
All right, Selena Wang, thank you. And back on the issue of tariffs, shoppers and businesses are bracing to pay higher prices now. Americans could feel the first impact at the grocery stores and at the gas pumps. And tonight, the warning from the auto industry. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Tonight, American households and businesses are bracing to pay higher prices, with President Trump's sweeping tariffs set to hit nearly half of all imports that enter into the U.S. Tariffs are fees paid by businesses to the U.S. government when products and materials cross the border.
The U.S. importer has to write a check to the U.S. government. And what we saw in the 2018-2019 trade war is that burden was shifted directly onto American buyers and their customers. So it is Americans who have been shown over and over again to pay the burden of these tariffs, not foreigners.
Economists say the tariffs could cost American households on average up to $1,500 extra per year as businesses pass down higher costs. The first place consumers would feel the hit in the grocery aisle. 47% of all imported vegetables come from Mexico and Canada, plus 91% of avocados and 87% of tomatoes.
You can't stockpile fresh tomatoes, fresh avocados. So I imagine that in this particular segment of goods, we're going to see those cost increases being pushed forward in a matter of weeks.
Liquor like tequila also set to get more expensive. Small business owners like Amar Harag in San Diego say margins are already tight.
It seems like at every turn we have to look at additional costs to run our business, which then results into that $1-2 increase.
The auto sector also highly exposed. New car prices could go up $3,000 on average if the tariffs stay in effect. And with 60% of imported crude oil coming from Canada, drivers could feel pain at the pump too. Gas Buddy says prices could rise 20 cents in regions like the Midwest and Northeast.
And Elizabeth Schulze joining me now in studio. Good to see you. Elizabeth, we know that some retailers already preparing for these tariffs, stocking up on shipments.
Exactly what we have seen an uptick in shipping volumes, and some businesses have tried to front load their shipments ahead of these tariffs taking effect.
Cookies,
But that is a lot harder to do for retailers who sell perishables or seasonal products.
Something to watch in the days ahead. Elizabeth Schulze, thank you for coming in tonight. We do turn now to that deadly air ambulance crash in Philadelphia and the urgent search for the black box. Federal investigators.
Tonight, local and federal agencies in Philadelphia working around the clock, urgently searching for the black box of the medical transport jet that plunged to the ground, killing all 6 people on board and at least 1 person on the ground.
This remains an ongoing investigation. The situation is fluid and it is active.
Investigators from the NTSB, the FBI, and the FAA combing through the large debris field, which extends for at least 4 blocks. Officials calling on the public for help.
We are still looking for the cockpit voice recorder. If there are citizens or business owners or others who find debris, please email the NTSB at witness@ntsb.gov.
Flight Radar 24 data shows the medevac Learjet was in the air for under a minute. The crash and fireball bringing this northeast Philadelphia neighborhood to a standstill. 5 nearby homes catching fire. The number of injured continuing to grow. At least 22 people now reportedly injured, 3 in critical condition. And tonight, Jet Rescue Air Ambulance identifying the 6 people on board the plane. Among them, 31-year-old Lizeth Murillo Osuna and her 11-year-old daughter, Valentina Guzman Murillo, who had just received medical care at nearby Shriners Children's Hospital.
And Whit, here at the scene of the crash, this is a very large area and there is a lot of damage. Teams have been conducting what's called grid searches. They're going house to house, inspecting homes in this area, looking for damage or plane debris. Whit.
Yeah, a delicate task ahead. Stephanie Ramos, thank you. Next tonight, the recovery efforts at the Potomac crash site.